Winter on the island of Sodor can be very busy and very cold, as many of the engines have to work hard to get their loads delivered on time, especially given how hard working in snow is and how easy it is to get stuck in it. One night, Percy was finishing his mail run, and he stopped at a red signal in Henry's forest. Poor Percy was shivering as he waited for the signal to change.
"Oh, I wish I was back in my nice warm shed,"
he complained. Snow fell softly. Everything in the forest was covered in a blanket of white. After a while, the ambience was broken by what seemed to be the soft sound of an engine's puffing.
"Huh? Who's there? Doc? Henry? Thomas?"
The puffing got closer and louder, and the lack of an answer from the owner of that puffing made Percy uneasy. He was about to call out again when something rolled up beside him. It was a tank engine that was white all over, had a tall funnel, a short dome, and 6 small wheels. But what Percy noticed the most were a pair of bright red eyes which stood out from his entire body, which to the saddle tank looked like the engine was cloaked in the snowy forest. Percy felt the water in his tanks go cold as his surroundings as the engine looked towards Percy.
Hello? Who are you?"
The engine didn't respond. He just looked at Percy with a solemn expression. Percy then noticed something else. A small tear came from one of the engine's eyes. Only it was an ice droplet. The frozen tear went down the engine's face before hitting its buffer beam with a tap. The tense silence was broken when the engine let off steam with a Percy was so frozen in place he might as well have become Jack Frost again. His crew were just as frightened, not just by the engine's chilling appearance, but also because neither could see a crew in the engine's cab. Finally, the engine quietly steamed away and disappeared into the forest. Percy was so scared that as soon as his signal changed to green, he steamed straight out of the forest as fast as he could. Soon Percy was back at the sheds. He was tired and traumatized by his encounter, which the other engines noticed.
"What's wrong, Percy?"
asked Thomas.
"You look like you've seen a ghost."
Percy took a moment to find his words before he spoke.
"I may as well have. I saw a mysterious white tank engine while in Henry's forest."
Oh, come on, little Percy. You've seen Stanley before, and he's certainly not scary.
"It wasn't Stanley.
Percy snapped.
This engine was completely white all over. Not just his boiler and cab, but his buffer beam, footplate, frames, everything!"
The engines were left in a stunned silence by Percy's description of the engine. Finally, Henry spoke up.
"So, Winter is still here?"
He said solemnly.
"Winter? That's his name?"
"That's what we call him."
And this is the story Henry told.
Around the time I came to Sodor, there were many other engines that would come and go. Among them was a small engine on loan from the other railway. He was kind, helpful, and a very friendly sort, but many didn't find his appearance at all too nice. He had no real paint job, just a white undercoat. His irises were as red as James's paintwork, and he had no name or number. We all took to calling him Winter because when that season would come, he would blend into the snow. Only his eyes would stand out. The passengers didn't take a liking to poor Winter because of this, so he was only ever used for shunting. One day, we received news that Winter's old railway would file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and were withdrawing their engines. The fact director felt bad for Winter, but he had no money to buy him. Winter was so distressed that he steamed away from the station, tears streaming down his face as he did so. That was the last time any of us ever saw him. Time went by, more engines came and stayed, and Winter was soon forgotten. However, he never truly left us. One night, I was passing by my forest with a flying kipper, when rolling up beside me was Winter, who looked in terrible shape, and he had no crew. The only recognition I had of him were those scarlet red eyes. Looking at him, I also noticed a new thing. The tears he cried would turn into ice droplets the moment they left his eyes. I don't know what exactly may have happened to him, but it seems he's still with us after so many years, forever roaming the forest as a lost, sad soul.
All the engines were silent and were uneasy as they went to sleep. The next night, Duck was on his way with a delivery of fish vans for the flying kipper in the morning when he stopped by a signal, the same one Percy had stopped at the night before. He could hear the soft puffing and looked around to see where it was coming from, and then rolling up next to him it was Winter. Duck was petrified. Winter's scarlet red eyes looked in Duck's direction, while his frozen tears shone in the moonlight. Eventually, the engine rolled away with a whoosh, disappearing into the snowy forest. Duck didn't know what to think, even after Henry told him about the snowy specter. It wasn't long until all the engines heard of the spooky spirit of the forest. Some would hear the puffing while going into the forest, or would meet the engine face to face while at that signal. Many were unsettled by his appearance. But one night, after Percy's encounter, it all changed. It was late at night, and Gordon was getting ready to take a night express, but he was feeling an odd pain.
This isn't good, but I must pull through. My passengers are counting on me!
This express was particularly important. The Fat Controller was on board, along with many important people. The guard blew his whistle, and Gordon started off, making his way out of the station. Gordon made it down the main line without much trouble, eventually reaching Henry's Forest, the final stretch before the workstation. But right as he entered the forest, he hissed as he slowed to a stop in the middle of the forest. The crew inspected the damage.
Looks like you burst your safety valve again, Gordon.
The driver said.
We shall have to get help.
Oh, just what I needed. The absolute indignity of it all. If bursting my safety valve while pulling an important train wasn't bad enough, I just so happened to stop at the very same place everyone says they've seen a...
But before Gordon could continue, he felt a soft bump from behind, followed by a whistle the big engine didn't recognize. A sign that his mysterious rescuer was ready.
Who on Sodor? Who is that?
By that point, everyone on the train wanted to get going again, so Gordon's crew decided to go ahead and let this mystery engine try. Gordon whistled back to say he was ready as well, and the train continued on. When they reached the workstation, the passengers cheered in delight.
In fact, I believe that honor should belong to that engine who brought us the rest of the way here.
But when everyone looked to the rear coach, no one was there. Gordon then saw Edward come in with a train of coal for the station.
Sorry I'm late. The snow is making it hard to get through.
I say, Edward, did you happen to see an engine leaving the station on your way here?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Gordon, but no engines passed by me on the way here.
Gordon was speechless, and so was the Fat Controller.
No, that can't be right. Someone was clearly pushing me from Henry's Forest all the way up here.
The guard then walked up, just as perplexed as everyone else.
There was indeed an engine behind us, a white tank engine with red irises. I turned around for 1 second when we pulled in, and when I looked back, it was gone.
No one said a word. Edward shunted Gordon into the works before taking his train on. Once he brought the passengers to Vickerstown, they left on a train for the other railway. After that, Edward told the Fat Controller about Winter. They reached Henry's Forest and stopped at the signal Winter had been seen at many nights before. And before long, that white tank engine appeared from out of the gently falling snow.
So, you're Winter. I am truly sorry about how you were treated back then, and what became of you. And I do wish that my great-grandfather before me could have saved you. You might have given my engines quite the fright, but I know you aren't a harmful spirit, as you've proved when you helped Gordon earlier tonight. You've shown to us that even though you've shed your mortal coil, you are still a really useful engine.
Winter said nothing, but he gave a gentle smile. A couple of tears streamed down his face, but they were happy tears that didn't turn into ice droplets. The snowy spirit puffed back, disappearing into the snow once more. Once he was gone, Edward and the Fat Controller set off for Wellsworth. No one saw Winter again after that night, but even if he were to appear again, no one would be frightened of him, as they all know he isn't a malevolent spirit, especially Gordon. Now, whenever he passes through Henry's Forest during a snowy day or night, he passes by in a respectful silence for Winter, the snowy spirit.